Hi, Gloria Grace Rand here, and welcome to week 6 of the LinkedIn Marketing Formula. I can't believe we are finally at our last class. And today we are going to be talking about LinkedIn groups. So let me kind of dive right in a little bit. Oh, actually, first thing I wanted to do, and let me make sure I can do that, is I want to share the notes with you for this week. And so that you will have that. So let me get that off of my get that off the computer, see if I can find it. Yep, there we go, got it. Yes. Okay, so you should have the notes for this week. And I think what I'm going to do is I want to actually refer to your notes as well, because it will, for one of the parts I want to get to, I want to be able to show that. So I'm going to actually open up that file for me as well. So I'll have it handy when I get there. All right, so LinkedIn groups. What the heck are they? Well, if you're familiar with Facebook groups, of course, LinkedIn actually started them first. LinkedIn had groups before Facebook ever did. And I'm not even sure how many of them there are, but I know that there are probably hundreds of groups in different areas of, serving different industries, and it's a great way to be able to demonstrate your expertise on your particular topic, and as a way to be able to communicate with potential prospects for your business, to be able to strike up conversations with people, and to be able to develop relationships that will help you to be able to be a more, to be able to develop clients this way. So LinkedIn groups. Now, actually, I'm going to throw a little caveat in here, but I know they were super, super popular when they first came out, and I think especially once Facebook kind of started getting in on the act and decided that this was a good way to go, they've lost some of their appeal for some people, and they had also done some changes to them over the years as well, and some people don't really like them. But that's not to say that there isn't still a lot of value that you can derive from them. Again, it's about the effort that you put into it, and in developing relationships with people, because there are still, I think, just like anything, there are very active groups that you will see in LinkedIn, and then there are groups that are not active at all. And so obviously you don't want to spend any time in those because there's no point to it. But it's it's a good place to be able to go in and to be able to join discussions. And notice I said join a discussion, not necessarily when you're first getting involved with LinkedIn groups. Don't treat it like this is where you're just going to start sharing all your blog articles and that's all you're going to do with it. It's a place for you to be able to start up conversations with people, rather than using it as a way to promote your business. And in fact, there are some specific rules that we're going to go through that I'm going to show you. So let me actually, let me kind of go through a little bit of some of the types of groups to join. So I'm actually going to share my screen so that you can see the notes here that I've provided you. So what types of groups should you join? Well, certainly ones that are related to your industry, because that's the good place to start right off the bat. And then, of course, local networking groups are going to be some good places to go as well. Industry groups related to your desired client. Now, this is an important thing to consider too. It's not just, being in, like, say, I would be, and in fact I am, I'm a member of like a copywriting group, I'm a member of a social media group. But those are places that I go to be able to learn new things, learn new tactics, learn new strategies that then I can share with my clients. But if I want to be able to attract a certain client in a certain type of industry, then those are the groups that you want to join. And of course, now some of them you may not be able to get into because they may have strict restrictions on their membership, but you you will be surprised that you can find some groups that will let you in, because they may want to have people from companies that provide services to those industries, for example. So you can be able to use those types of groups as market research, frankly, to be able to see what their concerns are, what are they interested in, and then that can help you in tailoring the type of content to share with them. Other groups that you might want to look into certainly are ones that are related to social causes. If you're very passionate about a particular charity or something like that, or a volunteer group, that's an option for you as well. And certainly your own interest, personal interest. You can become join a LinkedIn group in that area as well. And the benefit of that is the fact that, again, it's, you use it a little bit more on a personal basis, but remember that LinkedIn is a social networking tool, and the first word in that is social. So why not use it to join a group related to your own personal interests, because then you can get to know people and be friendly with them, and you share a common bond, and then who knows, they may turn out to be someone who actually then needs your services or products that you sell, and they're going to be more inclined to turn to you because you've struck up a friendship already. Or they may be able to refer you to someone else. So that's why it's good to be able to do that. So what I'm going to do right now, I think, is actually, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you, we're going to navigate to LinkedIn groups and talk a little bit more about how to search for groups in particular, because as I said, there's lots of stuff to go over here. So let me share my screen again. We're going to go into LinkedIn so I can talk to you a little bit more about how to do this. So as I said, first thing you want to do is figure out what type of group to join. And I'm going to show you two things. So number one, how to search for groups, and then actually once you go to a group, how to be able to find that. Well, actually, I'll show you that first. If you see this, it's very counterintuitive. I don't know why they're hiding this information. It seems like it would be really good to have a little button here that would say groups, but no, they're hiding groups under this work icon here, this little Rubik's Cube. Sort of looks like here are these 9 squares, and then you'll see over here this little icon here for groups, and that's where you can go to access the groups that you are already a member of. And you can also go into discover other groups, and this section here is good in that these 3 icons tell you different things. So number one, we've got today's highlights. So that's what this icon is. When you click on it, it takes you to this page where it shows you the selection of conversations from the groups that you belong to, and it also will put over here a list of your most active groups. Oh, one thing I wanted to tell you about, and this was something new that I found out. It used to be you could join 50 groups on LinkedIn. Now they let you join 100 groups. I don't know why. I don't even know how anyone could possibly manage joining 100 groups. I think that's a little crazy. So my advice to you is to join as many groups as you are willing to spend time in, and then that you can devote the time in. Like I said, I have no idea why they gave you that many groups to join. At one time, I think I was a member of 50 groups, and I wasn't active in nearly that many. So I would say start off with 5, 5 or 10 maybe, and be very selective about these types of groups that you want to be in, because of the fact that there's only so much time in a day, and you're a business owner, you're busy, you're not going to have time to necessarily be in 20, 30, 50 groups. It's not going to work. So anyway, so that's what this icon is. So this shows you, you go through here and you can see the latest conversations from people, and then your most active groups. And you can these are all clickable links. So if I click on it, it'll take me right inside the group right there. You click over here, This takes you to my groups, and this is groups that I manage and groups that I'm in. And we're going to talk a little bit more in a few minutes about why or why not you might want to have your own group on LinkedIn. And then over here, you have Discover. And what LinkedIn does here is these are basically groups that they think that I might be interested in. And I believe they do this by looking at my profile and kind of taking it from, I think taking it from what they've seen on my profile and probably also the other groups that I'm in. So they're trying to give me some ideas. But I want to actually take you back to, even if you went through here and say you didn't see the group that you wanted to join, how do you actually search for it? So what we're going to do is go back to linkedin.com over here, and what we're going to actually do is do a search. So let's say you want to look for a networking group in your local town. So for instance, for me, I would type in like Orlando networking, and you see right here it gives you sort of the first three results are one is a group, one is a company, and this one is a showcase page. So, but if we hit the actual little search icon here, it's actually going to now give us again, these are everything that shows Orlando networking in, so we can choose what category we want. So go ahead and click groups, and now it shows you there are 105 results. All of these groups have Orlando and networking in the title of them. Now, once you get these search results, what are you looking for? What should you look for in trying to decide what group to join? Well, I would say number one, you'll notice that there's a big variety in how many members each of these groups has. So for instance, this one has 21,000, this one has 15,000 members, this one only has 30, this has 3,000, this one only has 246. Whoops, I didn't really need to actually go into that group. I'll do that in a minute. But so there's a big variety here of numbers. So which would be better, do you think? Well, I think you're going to have to tell. You're going to have to find that out, for one thing, by really experimenting and clicking on the group and seeing. There used to be a way where you could see how active the group was, and unfortunately, LinkedIn doesn't give us that option anymore, of course. Another one of those things that they've changed. However, you can certainly click on one of these groups, and once you get in there, you can see who are the administrators of the group. You can look and see if you have any connections that are already in the group. So that might be a way for you to decide whether or not this group is a good place to be, because potentially maybe these are some prospects for you that you already are connected with, but you haven't built up a good enough relationship yet that you're actually selling them something. So this might be a good way, again, for you to be able to get to know them better by being in the same group. So that's one way that you can decide. The other is to look over here under this About This Group, and this gives you a description about what the group is about. And so you can decide here by looking and seeing if it matches your interests, your industry, what have you, so you can decide whether or not you want to join. And then if you do that and you see, okay, I want to see if this is going to be a good group, then all you got to do is click on this button, Ask to Join, and then the admins of that group will look and see, and they will evaluate you. They're going to check you out and decide whether or not they want to let you into the group or not. So that's what you might want to do for there. Now, why would you possibly do a smaller group? Well, here's the thing. Because this is such a big group, it's like there's two schools of thought here. On the one hand, you've got a lot more members, so there's a lot more potential clients or prospects, leads, that you could connect with. On the other hand, a smaller group, now say for instance, let's take this one, the financial executives networking group. So let's say that I wanted to reach out to financial networking executives. So let's see what this group says. We gives individuals who have been CFOs, controllers, an opportunity to share information on career directions. We provide many networking opportunities with fellow senior level. And you must first be a member of the FENG at this website to join this discussion group. Okay, so here's a qualifying thing right there. I'm not a member of that, and frankly, I'm not a CFO or a controller. My husband could maybe be in this group, but I wouldn't be. So now I know that, okay, this is not a good group for me, not a good place to be. But if I was a CFO and I wanted to be able to network with other people, then I could request to join. And because there's so few members, this opens up an opportunity for me to really have maybe create some good, deep, meaningful connections with a smaller number of people. So there is some benefit to being in groups that have a smaller number of people than you might necessarily think would be a good idea. But again, it's really trial and error. So one thing I wanted to show. Actually, I'm gonna do something here too because I want to show you something. I'm gonna go ahead and ask to join this group because I think it might be a good group for me to be. So I'm going to click on that, and now you see here it says your request has been submitted, and this little window now has changed to pending. And if I change my mind, I can always hit withdraw. So now what I want to be able to show you is here's something that. Especially if you are just getting involved in groups, that LinkedIn doesn't want you to just go ahead and request to join a whole bunch of groups at once. You can only be a member of, or you can only request to join 10 groups at a time. And so in order to find that, let's see, I think what we have to do is we go over to, I believe it's under, yeah, my groups. And you see over here, tells you my pending groups, and I can take a look and see these are groups that I have requested to join, but I have not been accepted yet. So I just will, wait and see. And it may be, now some of these groups, they do have new conversations that shows this, so they're fairly active, but they may not think that I'm a good person to join, so I may eventually go back in here and just withdraw. And the way to do that again is you can click on the group settings button here and then just withdraw the request. Actually, I want to see what happens if we click on new conversations. Yeah, because I'm not in the group, you can't go in there. So let's go into one of the groups that I am a member of so that I can show you a little bit about how to connect and what types of information. So let's try this group right now. And this is a really big group, 470,000 members. It's huge. So this is when you go to a group, when you become a member, this is what you're going to see. So right up at the top, they give you an option to start a conversation with the group, and they prefer that you add a title in here. So I'm not going to do one, but just to give you an idea. And then you can add some details about it, and you could add a link if you wanted, or you can even add an image too, which is kind of cool. Oops, I don't want to do that. But anyway, you can add an image to it, or you can also share a job. So if you had, for some reason, you were looking for employees or something, you had something, you could post that in there as well. So what type of information should you post in here? What is the thing to do? Or, well, actually, before we even get there, let me talk a little bit again about when you join a group. I don't want you to rush in and just start a conversation right away. My advice has always been is to go in and look at the existing conversations that are there and see if there's something that you can respond to that you can add value. And that's the thing I want to stress here. It's important to add value to the conversation. So now what will happen is these will be, sometimes, and I'll show you later, sometimes an admin will actually pin a conversation to the top. But otherwise, you'll see this little indicator says this was posted. Well, actually, you'll see a little date shows up, and this conversation was posted 2 hours ago. And now here's a cool thing too, is that you can, when you see someone has posted, you just hover your mouse over their name, you get a little quick synopsis of their profile. And so it gives you some information so you can decide whether or not you want to be able to connect with this person. But you can certainly see here, she's posting an article about physician burnout. And this is a good example. It says, can you relate to this? If so, find out what you can do. I would love to hear more ideas on this serious topic. That is an excellent way to start a conversation if you do go in to do that. Because she's asking a question. She's not just throwing a link up there. She's trying to start a conversation. She's inviting you to actually read the article and then to comment on it. So if this were something that I wanted to do, I would read the article and then I could, reply to the conversation as soon as you, type something in, and don't just say, here's another tip, don't just say, oh, this is a great article, thanks. That's really nothing great. Instead, what I would recommend is if you've got something else, you could certainly compliment the person sharing the article, but she's asking for specifically, she'd love to hear more ideas on the serious topic. So maybe you can say, hey, great tips. I found in my business, XYZ. And then you can post, so you can add value to the conversation, because then that's going to make that person, you're going to get notified when someone does comment on your conversation, and then you'll be able to see what the comment is and decide if this is somebody you want to connect with. See, and here's another one. Again, they're kind of talking about being careless with your money. Why are you with your time? So these are all conversations, so it gives you an idea of what to do. Now, how do we use this for prospecting, and like I said, I would use it to be able to comment on people's and get things, and let's say, or to add value to the conversation. But now you want to take this a step further. Well, here's a couple things that you can do. Number one, you see these little 3 dots here. If you click on this, you could actually even send them a private message. And so you could reply privately to that person. So if you wanted to have a conversation with them more one-on-one that you didn't want to have in the actual group, that's one option. But a better option to do would be to actually go over here and click on, well, actually, I take that back. So number one, you could do it right here. Okay. Okay, there we go. It's like you got to hold it a certain way, but you could actually send them a message right here. We could go ahead and click on message, and it opens up a new window where you could actually type them a message right there, which is pretty cool when you think about it. So you can send them a private message right through the group. And let me see, I'm just checking my notes because I know there are some limitations about doing this. So let me tell you this, which I hope I put in the notes. Let me double check if I put this in. Yes, I did put this in the notes, so you will have this in your notes. So here's the important thing to know. Oops, I'm sorry, I paused the screen share for a minute. Let me stop that for a minute. Yeah, I have this in the notes, but I just wanted to make sure, I wanted to double check that. So you can only send, here I'm going to say, you can send 15 free one-to-one group messages to fellow group members each month. And this limit is set for all the groups you belong to and not for each group individually. So it's collectively, so you'll need to be very thoughtful about how you're going to use this. So I would, as you're going through the groups each week, let's say you spend maybe a half an hour 3 times a week going through your LinkedIn groups, is make a note of who you think are going to be good prospects for you, and then keep a file. You know, I think we talked about this earlier in the course about the importance of setting up an Excel file to keep track of your connections. So include that so that you can know that you're only going to be able to have 15 people to connect with via messages through the groups. Now, with the caveat being that these are people that you're not already connected to, that you're first connections with. If you're first connected, then you can send them as many messages as you want. But if you're not directly connected to them at first, and which I'll share my screen again, we'll go back to LinkedIn for a minute here. I'll share my screen and show you again, is that, because I don't think I was, like for instance, I'm quite sure now. It says over here that she is my second connection. So this, if I were to send her a message, it would count as one of those 15. But if there were people that I am connected to, then that would be okay. So that's one way to do it. The other way that you can look for people and to be able to possibly interact with people in the same group is you click on that message, the total number of messages. And now you can see these, it goes through and gives you all of the people. These are all of the members of the group, and I think they do, looks like it's about 10 at a time or so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's about 10. So it's going to take you a long time to get through here and see the different type of people. And again, now you see, let's say I wanted to send a message to Wendy Anderson here. I can click right here on the message button here, and again, it opens up this new window so I could send her a message. So there's a couple different ways of doing it. You can also use the search button, but this search is a little wonky, and I was testing this out the other day, and it seemed to be, like I said, a little bit wonky because I was trying to see if I can sort by owner. And it seems like what it does here is it's pulling up any person who has owner next to their name, which is odd to me. Because I thought it used to be that this would search actually their whole profile to look for the keyword, but evidently it doesn't now. So it's looking for if this person has owner, so the keyword in their name, and then it's going to, so there's only evidently 10 people that have owner in their name. So the search is a little, not that great, I think, because of that. But if you're looking for something in particular, it's not bad. You can also you can sort members by their last name. Again, not really sure what the benefit of this is because again, it's not like they're in alphabetical order, so I don't know what the point of that is. I think these buttons are not really working very well anymore, and I would like to check with LinkedIn about that because it seems a little off. Anyway, so that's how you can search. So like I said, what's important here is when you're first going through LinkedIn and you're first joining a member, is to just keep, go through and look for good topics that you want to contribute to the conversation. And then once you've done that for, let's say even a couple weeks, I would, just to kind of let people know that you're becoming an active member, then you can go ahead and start a conversation with your group. So I'm going to actually I'm going to stop the share for a minute, and I am going to go back to our notes because I have in here some tips on what to share. So I'm going to just go there and share that with you. So actually, I think I'll just read it to you. You can refer to your notes and you can see it. But things that, number one, what I would do is to start your own discussion. Certainly, you can share things like topics of interest to your particular industry, information that is related to your local area. Ask questions. You can use this as a market research. Ask a question that you're interested in about your industry, maybe a particular challenge that you want to see your target audience has. Ask a question about it. What is your biggest challenge when it comes to getting real estate clients. I don't know. You know, what is your greatest you know, challenge or frustration about marketing or whatever it is, and use that and to be able to start conversations, to be able to get things. Oh, actually, the other thing you can do, which I forgot about, and I'm going to go back and share my screen again, is, oops, no, wrong thing. Let me reduce this down for a minute. Okay, let me go back in and show you the other thing that you can do is, and I totally forgot about this, is you can actually search for a particular topic. So let's say, for instance, in my interest, you know, obviously it lies with marketing, or actually I'm going to say I'll just do social media in general and see if anybody has shared any, started any conversations related to social media. And so here are some topics. Now you will notice though that these are not timely. This has been 3 months ago that someone had shared this article. So this is really, and there's no way to actually, this doesn't actually take you into the conversation itself, but you could use this for research and certainly use it as a way to find information that other people have shared on your topic. So, because I think, again, you know, you can view that person's profile. You can, let's see what happens if we do, oh, okay, if we do click on it, we do go back to the conversation. All right, so that's good. So you would have an opportunity to comment on it and like it. But I would say is, since it's so old, it would be, unless the article is really great, it may or may not be a good tactic to do. You might be better off just looking for articles that are more recent that you can comment on. And like I said, these are people who have been active in the group recently, and so that might be the better way to go with that. Yeah, 1 second, I'm going to just take a drink of water from that. Okay. Oh, one other thing, one other point I want to make too is when you have been in a group and you decide that you do want to contact somebody, the other LinkedIn rule here is that you have to be a member of the group for at least 4 days before you can send a message. So, which makes sense because they want to, you know, unfortunately, you know, there are spammers on LinkedIn, and people have you know, join groups specifically just to try to sell people stuff, and they're not treating it as a vehicle to get to know people. So it's important for you to be able to, that's why they put this rule in. So this way it gives you a few days to get to know the group, see how active it is, see what people are doing, and then you can decide or not, you know, then you can start prospecting for leads. Okay, so let me just double checking my notes here and making sure what else I wanted to point out about this. Yeah, okay, so why, let's talk about having your own group. Why would this be a good idea? And I'm going to actually go over here to my group section. And there's a couple reasons, and it's the same reason that people create groups on Facebook, because with a couple good advantages. So starting your own group gives you instant credibility and establishes you as the authority in your niche. So that right there is good, because now you can actually invite people to your group. So you can invite people that you have connected with on LinkedIn and say, hey, I think you'd be a great member of this group. And of course, give them a reason to be in the group. So it is important that you set up a good description and decide what is going to be, why am I having this group? What is going to be the function? Is it going to be to educate people? Is it a networking group? Whatever it is, but come up with that idea so that then you can give people a reason to be in the group. Now, so just to give you an idea about how this works, and I'm also going to tell you about another big benefit of being in a group and creating your own group. So this is a group that I created, and it's called the Mindful Entrepreneur Network. And this group I started actually a few years back. I had a different name at the time, but I decided to change it to this actually last year. And so I came up with this description. Brings together small business owners who are growing their companies with authenticity, love, and gratitude, manifesting prosperity in all the other areas of their lives and the lives of their clients. And so, it talks a little bit about what we're committed to, and I'm inviting like-minded men and women to engage in the conversation. So, so that's what I've done. And so I created this group, and so I've got 155 members so far. And so here's a couple of the benefits of having your own group. So number one is you can actually have a featured post right at the top. So one of my goals this year is to launch a mastermind. So I thought it would be good to post in one of my articles that I've written about masterminds and the benefits of that. So that's what I've got right up here at the top. And but the other big benefit, or one of the other big benefits of it, is that when you have your own group, you can send an email to the group once a week and let people know about special events and things like that. Oh, because one of the points I neglected to mention before is that LinkedIn does not like you to post anything that can be seen as really trying to get people to buy something. So you can't share things like events as a conversation with your group. You can't post something really for sale here. So in order to do that, if you want to be able to do it, that's one of the benefits of having a group, because now you can send them a message. So I'm going to show you the back end of this so you can kind of see all of the how to be able to manage your group. So, we're going to click on the manage button here, and this takes you to some of the back end information here. So right now, this is where you manage members, and this is where everybody's in here. And if for some reason somebody was not acting right, you have the option to remove them or altogether, or you could just block them for some reason, or you could also send them a message as well. But again, it depends on whether or not you're connected to them, because if I'm not connected, then that's going to count against my 15 for the month. So if there were pending members, this would show in here, and someone who has requested to join, and this is where you would have the option where you, whenever somebody comes in here and wants to join, I look at their profile and see if they seem like a good fit for the group. Now, I will tell you that I have, let's see, do I have them under here? Okay, I haven't blocked users. No, wait a minute. I haven't blocked anyone, but there have been people that I have denied because they looked like they were just basically spammers. It's like they didn't have any connections, or they only had like one or two. They didn't have a picture, on their profile. They didn't have a big description. All of the things that we covered like way back in class 1 and 2 about how to have a good profile, they didn't have any of that information. So I thought that they were a little bit too sketchy, and I didn't want to have them in the group. And that's my prerogative as being the member of the group, so I can do that. So you can have more than one admin. As groups get larger, that's something to consider. You might want to do that. Again, this is where you have, you could actually invite your connections, and you could actually send them a message and ask them to be. So these people I invited, but they didn't join for whatever reason. Then you can go into the manage content area, where again, this is content that might, you can decide whether or not you want to post it. And then you've got, let's see, group details. Okay, this is where you can actually customize your group. So LinkedIn does recommend that you create like a group logo. You can have a name for your title. Oops, I keep doing that, sorry. You can upload a logo for it. Then this is where you can write your description, and you can add some extra rules to it. This is optional. And then now there's 2 types of groups on LinkedIn. You can have a standard group where Actually, members can invite other members, and the group is visible on search results. So that's a good way for, people can grow the group that way. Or it could be an unlisted group where only the owner, managers, and moderators may invite members. Now, I did that for our LinkedIn support group. I made that one an unlisted group because it's just for you, for members of the course, people who paid money to be in the course. And so that's why I made that one an unlisted group. And of course, if you wanted to delete it, I like how they put this in red. Stop. If you don't want to delete it, don't press that button. So that's smart. So that's where you've got that. Now, wait a minute. I'm trying to think of the other area is where can I, let's see, it's not under, oh, okay. Here's some message templates that you can have as well. So you can create a welcome message that will automatically go out to people. You can have a decline message where when you decline the request to join this group, which is actually something I need to do. I thought I had set that up, but I don't think I have. So these are some other things that you can do. And let me go back to members, because somewhere on here is, maybe it's moderation. Okay. All right, I'm going to go back to, actually go back to the beginning here. Okay, I think it's under settings. That's where it is. There we go, group settings. I knew there was some other information here that I was missing. Okay, so this is your visibility where you could display the group logo. You can set up the email address for group messages. Okay, so now this is where when you send a message, it's going to show which email address it's coming from. And of course, this is where you can create, actually this is important for when you're a member, is you can decide how often you want to be able to be notified of activity in the group. So that's where that comes from. And then that's the contact me and the networking. Okay. I apologize, because see, it used to be this was where you would actually send out your admin announcements and where you could create a message, but I guess what it is, it's back right at the beginning. When you start a conversation with your group, you can post a conversation, share a job, or send an announcement. This is where you basically send your email. So it's right here. They used to have it in the settings, but now they have it here. So this would be where I would send, in fact, we'll do this because you can do a test announcement. So, okay, you're invited to a webinar, to a LinkedIn webinar, we'll say this, okay. Okay, and then you could write a whole big, long message here about coming to my LinkedIn webinar on January 25th, 2018. You can register here, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So now what you can do is send the test announcement. This will go to my email, and then I can take a look at it, see if everything looks okay, make sure I didn't have any spelling mistakes. Like I can see right now I spelled LinkedIn wrong. And now it says your test email was successfully sent. And then once you do that, then if you're happy with it, then you can just hit post and it will go. So I'm going to delete this because I don't want to send that out. So that's how you can go ahead and stay in touch with your members of your group, which I think is a really great idea to be able to do that. This is where you can send them tips and strategies about your business. You can use it as a way to be able to build rapport with the members of your group, and especially with the members who maybe you're not directly connected with. And this will help you to be able to, like I said, to build rapport with them and to develop leads. And I'm going to tell you right now that I have not been making use of this feature as well as I should have, and that's something that I'm going to start taking advantage of and sending them an email, because I know you may get this already, you may get messages from people that you're members of, groups that you're members of, and so I know there are other people who do take advantage of that, and so it's a good way to stay in front, just like when you're doing email marketing, to be able to stay top of mind with your prospects. it's so important in building that rapport and nurturing the leads. So staying top of mind, using a group to do that is going to be a great way to go. So yeah, oh, and when you're doing the, let's say you create a welcome message, which I am really surprised, because I know that I had a welcome message in here before. Let me find that again. Okay, where did that go again? That was under manage, wasn't it? Yeah. So I swear I had a, I used to have a welcome message. Let me see if it's here. Oh, yeah, I do still have a welcome message. I thought I did. Okay. Very good, because I was wondering about that. So yeah, so here is my welcome message. So, so I've got it here. If you'd like to connect with us further, you can click this link to join our email list. And I set this up so it's going to my active campaign. I've got a URL that will have that, where somebody can go ahead and sign up to be on my email subscriber list. So you could actually offer them even something else of value here. Maybe you offer them a link to an ebook or something like that. In fact, I think I'm going to send myself a test email just to double check this and see how this works. But that's important to have something like that, to have a welcome message in there, and yeah, to be able to use it as a way to be able to grow your list, which is important. The other thing, and actually I'm going to go ahead and let me stop my share for a minute and come back here. I just want to run through a few other things to be able to also help you out in explaining why, or what you can do when you're running your own group. So you can make it, again, is use it as a way to ask for opinions and talk, get people's opinions. Use it for, like I said, for a platform for doing some market research, so you can find out where people's, what they need, and then that way then you can be ensuring that you're actually providing good information for them. It's also good to be able to, you need to stay on top of this, of course, and manage it and keep an eye on what people are talking about in there. And also make sure that you promote your group. You can promote it across your other social media channels, for instance. So you can let people know that you've got a LinkedIn group. Include it in you could include it in your email signature when you're sending out as an invite to join it. You could actually, let people know in your newsletter to join it. In fact, that's something I think I'm going to do. I haven't done that for a while. I've done it for Facebook, but I haven't done it for LinkedIn. And do that as a way to be able to grow the membership. Because, but just make sure that if you do decide to run your own group, it does take commitment. And so it means that you do need to spend some time in it every week, if not every day, because there's no point in creating a group and then ignoring it, because then it's just defeating the purpose. You might as well just join other groups and be active in those groups. So if you are going to take that step, like I said, and I'm take a lesson from me and not following my own advice, and that's something that now I'm going to spend more time in set that up, create a system for ensuring that I am posting in my LinkedIn group at least once a week and monitoring it and providing value to my audience and sending them an announcement once a week and letting them know, sharing a good article or sharing information about a class that I'm running, things like that. And that's what you can be doing as well, and is using this opportunity to be able to nurture these members, find them, and to be able to grow your business through LinkedIn. I'm trying to think if there's anything else related to groups that I didn't mention today. I'm not sure at the moment. Let me think. I think that's pretty much the highlights of it. So, like I said, it's important you can search for groups that are related to your industry, search for groups related to your business, search for groups that are related to your target audience, and check them out. And then actually, yeah, let me go back in. I'm going to go back over to my groups and show you one other thing here. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen one more time before we end the class here. I wanted to share one other thing, and that is because you don't know for sure how active a group is going to be until you join it. The one way that you can tell how active a group is when you come over here. When you go to the groups, and you can see how many new conversations are started. So in this one, this social media marketing group is, and actually I think that looks like this is what LinkedIn does, is they will automatically put them in here in order of activity. So this group has the most activity. Then the International Coach Federation, 36, this one has 24, 15, and so on. And so these groups down here don't have as much activity. So here's something that you could consider doing, is these could be groups that maybe you should start a conversation in, because nobody else has been doing it maybe lately. This could be a way to be able to raise your profile in the group and go ahead and start the conversations. Or it may be that they really are just go through with them and see that nobody has posted anything for months. Then you can say, okay, I want to withdraw. I don't want to be in this group anymore, and you can leave for that reason. So in fact, I'm actually going to check out this one. This is the Orlando Professional Network. So let me just see. All right, this person posted something one day, 5 days ago, 6 days ago, 1 week ago. So this it's not super active, but people have been participating for a little while. So I may consider staying in this group. This is one that I'm going to say being. I wanted to check one other thing here. Actually, I was thinking that there was something else I wanted to check. Okay, network updates. Now I was thinking that it used to be, again, this is something that I remember from before. LinkedIn used to be able to see a little bit more details about this group and about some of their activity, but they don't have it anymore. They don't have that feature. So that's one thing you can do, is you can decide whether or not it's a good fit for you. You can also invite other members to join your group right there as well. So or to join that group if you think it's a good one to be in. So again, it's just a matter of trial and error, experimenting and seeing what groups are going to be the best fit for you and your business to be able to choose from, and to see what's going to work out best for you. Okay, well, I think that pretty much covers it for what I wanted to share with you over the last 6 weeks, and I appreciate you. If you weren't able to be on today, I'll have the replay available on the website soon, and you'll be able to watch the class then. And I'll probably invite you all to join my other LinkedIn group. But I hope you've gotten some value out of this class, and watch for an email from me, because I'm going to be following up with you. I would like to get some feedback from you on how the class went, so I'm putting together a survey right now, so you should be getting that in your email in the next day or so. And yeah, I enjoyed sharing my tips on how to use LinkedIn. I hope you've gotten some value out of it. And if you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to me, send me an email, gloria@gloriarand.com, or post in our LinkedIn support group. That would be great too. And yeah, I think that's about it. So thanks again for being with me, and I look forward to connecting with you on LinkedIn in the future.